Hello, I'm Donald Summers. I'm the founder and managing director of Altruist Partners. We are delighted to be working with the Woodard Institute to roll out a very powerful transformational platform of business planning, financial development, and execution. It's a complete in-a-box system for nonprofits. We're going to look at it here and talk about how you can get involved. Thanks for listening. First, we at Altruist Partners believe that nonprofits, to fulfill their complete potential, shouldn't be nonprofits at all. They should transform into powerful social enterprises. That means capturing all the business, growth, and performance tools and methodologies from the private sector and applying them into the nonprofit sector. We're going to give an overview of what this looks like and what the tools are and how you can get involved. First, here's the core problem. As Dan Pallotta, in his very important book, Uncharitable, as he says, our social problems are very, very big, but our organizations that are up against them are tiny, and they have beliefs that keep them small. Well, we know how to fix this, and indeed we've delivered it in a seamless Connect the Dots package, and we want to teach you how to deliver it to a set of nonprofit clients. First, let's take a look at what the sector looks like in detail and see the size of this market. The 501c3, the nonprofit sector, is enormous. It's the fifth largest sector in our economy. It's 9% of our GDP. 4% of the nonprofits have 85% of the money, but there's an enormous number, over a million, between $100,000 and $10 million in revenue. They are stuck. They're the small nonprofits caught in this belief system. Let's take a look at where they are. First, for comparison's sake, let's look at perfect equality. This is if every entity has an equal amount of money. 50% of the population has 50% of the revenue. That's a slope of 1, perfect equality. Well, we know the world isn't like that. Look at the inequality in the US household space. We've all heard about the 1%ers. This is what that looks like. This is what is really surprising. Look at the nonprofit space. 4% of the sector is hospitals and universities, large, reasonably wealthy enterprise class corporations. They are performing well, but there are over a million nonprofits that are stuck. They are not growing. Fewer than 200 of them have grown past 50 million in the last half century. But 75,000 other organizations have. What if we could get them unstuck? This is incredibly high potential. Let's look at why they're stuck, and then we're going to talk about how to help them accelerate. First, looking at the world as in a for-profit and nonprofit lens, that's problematic. For-profits are traditionally seen as having metrics. They're very driven, they're very accountable, they're highly scalable, they make lots of money. But then we look at nonprofits as having the altruistic programs, they have wonderful brand power, and people give them money, they get tax-free gifts. These qualities are generally separated. And here's the problem with that. The for-profits are not sustainable. If they're only in pursuit of money, they can chew up the planet. The nonprofits, if they just pursue doing good things but aren't focused on growth, they're not scaling, they're not solving any problems. This is the old way of looking at the world. It hasn't been working, but there's something better. Let's think in terms of a social enterprise. We collapse the difference between the for and nonprofit sectors. We take all the high performance, high growth characteristics of a for-profit and put it together with the altruistic programs, the brand power, and the tax-free leverage that you get from a nonprofit. We call that a social enterprise. You can do very, very powerful things. And it's not just nonprofits. There's other entity types like certified B Corps, special purpose corporations. But again, there's 875,000 nonprofits out there between $100,000 and $10 million a year that can access these business tools. First, let's talk about who qualifies. A nonprofit, to become a social enterprise, has to think about success, not just survival. They have to measure their growth and their programmatic results compared to the size of the problem they're working on. Just like any for-profit has to measure where it is in context of its market, a nonprofit, if it is to become scalable and powerful, should be thinking in terms of this context. Now, if we can find nonprofits that are comfortable thinking in this very unusual way, but very powerful way, there are 3 management tools that we can deliver. And again, these 3 management tools are part of a templated, connect the dots process, which you as a pro advisor can learn and deploy in a matter of months to nonprofits. They are what we call a high performance flywheel. They consist of 3 things: a business plan, a concise, comprehensive, concrete, and compelling document that says what exactly success looks like. It has metrics, milestones, financial projections. We'll show exactly what a business plan outline looks like in the next slide. Then we'll talk a little bit about creating a revenue pipeline and how to execute it. Third is the final execution piece, wrapping up the business plan and the revenue execution into a one-page dashboard, so the organization becomes focused, transparent, and accountable. Again, this is a complete system that we've built, and it works for every nonprofit, large or small, doesn't matter what field they're in. It's all fits together, and it's a cumulative sequential process. Let's look at a little more detail around each of these 3 management domains, and we'll then talk about how you can get involved. First, we want to look at a business plan. These are the core questions that nonprofits can answer if they're making the transition to a social enterprise. Note that mission, vision, and values, not on here. Those are not relevant. We prefer a much more muscular, powerful approach. We want to know what problem that nonprofit is solving, why they are the best organization in the space. What does their success look like? Do they have a BHAG? Do they have specific timed and measurable goals? Are they clear on their program strategy? Do they have key performance indicators? And how are they going to demonstrate that they can actually fund everything? We're looking for mastery of all of the revenue segments. Then how are they going to market this? What is their financial projection? And what does their board and their staff look like? This is a challenge to get all this down into the necessary 10 pages, but we have a templated system, and you can learn to help your nonprofit clients create this powerful social enterprise business plan. Then we talk about pipelines. We set up what the private sector would call a sales pipeline. We won't get into the specific tools here, but we will chart out for you how complex and exciting this space can be and how to make it simple for your clients. First, most nonprofits struggle around revenue. We've already seen the statistic, most of them are not growing. We can help them break past those chronic limitations by giving them a complete overview of where the money is and how to enter these capital markets. We have 6 of them: individuals, foundations, corporations, government agencies, earned income, and then impact capital. And we will have a system where we set up goals, we talk about investment prospects and how to inquire, engage, solicit, and report to those prospects, how to staff, structure, and organize and pay for everything. Setting up a high-powered revenue plan and then powering it with a pipeline, very, very important to accelerating nonprofit growth, and we've got it in a step-by-step system. Finally, we have a dashboard. Now, we have a business plan with key performance indicators. We have a revenue system that shows how to drive performance, how to bring in and cultivate and solicit investors around the various revenue domains. Now we have a one-page executive dashboard which captures all that progress and reports it once a month. We have the quantity of the work being done, the quality of the work being done, a measure of high-level finance, budget versus actual, the number of months of cash in the bank, and then we have a look at revenue and the leading driver of revenue, which is the number of face-to-face contacts with current and prospective investors. This system works. Altruist, over the past decade, has driven unprecedented results in the nonprofit sector. Clients who complete this system grow at 25% a year. We have created some of the most muscular, exciting, powerful social enterprises that are solving urgent problems, and we are ready to scale it through this network. Take a look at what is not an uncommon result. If you apply basic block and tackle business strategy and execution, you get revenue hockey sticks. This doesn't happen all the time, but it happens far more often than is currently the case. We have a very solid track record, and we have strong evidence that we can show the pro advisors how to deliver these types of encouraging results to the nonprofits in their area. If you'd like to get involved, go right to woodard.com/nonprofit. There's another description of this system, and there's buttons you can click to sign up. We'd like to close by saying we're looking for these qualities, both in our pro advisors and both in the nonprofits they serve. Optimism that we can solve problems, the courage and grit to try and dust ourselves off if we make inevitable mistakes. And we're looking for the focus and the discipline to apply sound business strategies and the urgency to move quickly and take reasonable levels of risk. These are qualities that are really ready to be driven into the nonprofit space to help them transform into social enterprises. And if you want to be a part of this good to great transformation, get on woodard.com nonprofit. Let us know. Thanks for listening. I look forward to working with you.